guys are laughing. These Greco kids, they don't even speak English. They're just laughing. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is rough, bro. And it's like, but this was the worst part. That was the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We're breaking practice, and he's like, hey guys, practice again tonight, 5 o'clock. I was like, practice again tonight, bro. You just killed these kids, bro. Practice again tonight. So another podcast today, Adversity Kings. We got Real Woods. How's it going, bro?
Good, bro.
Good?
Chilling. Yeah, I'm enjoying Miami.
Enjoying Miami. First time in Miami?
First time.
There's no way.
Yeah.
How are you liking it?
I like it a lot. I mean, I've been a lot of places, and I've always wanted to come here.
Yeah.
And it's just, everybody wants to go to check
Warm
it out.
winter.
It's warm. It's starting to get cold in Michigan, where I'm at right now.
Okay.
So it's nice to come and wear some short sleeves.
Yeah,
put on
bro.
the tank again.
Yeah. Let's go. So where were you born and raised?
Born and raised Albuquerque, New Mexico.
What about your parents? Where were they born and raised?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Born and raised Albuquerque, New Mexico. Moved for high school to Chicago.
Yep. Yeah. Montini.
Yeah.
Let's go. So wait, where were your parents born and raised?
Born and raised Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay, so family heritage is really Albuquerque, New Mexico.
My dad's mom, born and raised in New York, Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
My mom's parents, but yeah, deep heritage,
Yeah.
Albuquerque.
Well, now, what's your nationality? What's mom, dad?
My ethnicity, black and Hispanic,
Yeah.
Mexican.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what was your relationship like with your parents growing up? Who were you closest with?
Both of my parents, yeah.
Yeah.
My great parents, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, blessed.
I met your dad.
Yeah.
Incredible. I don't know if I was your mom at the match. She may have been.
She may have been.
Yeah. It was Iowa versus Penn State.
She
Yeah.
was there. She
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there. Yeah, I had a lot of family there on that one.
Yeah, dude.
But man, I have great parents. I really was blessed with being able to have them as leading my way.
Yeah.
Teaching me the path, and they didn't have much. They didn't come from much, but they were able to see a vision for me.
Yeah. Did your dad wrestle?
My dad, I think he wrestled maybe at one tournament. I think maybe if I'm not mistaken, maybe a few practices.
Yeah.
Nothing like major.
Yeah.
With that said, like right now, he runs like probably the biggest junior wrestling program in New Mexico, and while living in Iowa still, and he's been running it for the past like 10 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. And you brothers, they're wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
How many brothers you got?
Blessed and true. I got two little brothers.
Which one's better?
11, 12. Which one's better? We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. Neither of them are like too far ahead of one another.
Yeah.
If they were to wrestle in a match, the older one would win.
Yeah. What was growing up like with elementary school? When did you start wrestling? What was the journey like?
So I started wrestling. My dad got me into wrestling through one of his good friends he grew up with. I call him my Uncle Seth. He wrestled. He was real big into wrestling. And I was a short kid. I was a small kid. Yeah. And my dad was a college football coach, so I was always around college football. I always wanted to be a football player. Yeah. Because I was around it. My dad coached it. My dad loved it. I felt that love. Yeah. But they threw me in wrestling, and I started being successful pretty early on, like right when I was 6 years old when I first started competing. And so, naturally when you're successful at something, you start to like it. Yeah. And so I just started to like it. I started training, getting more serious. Anything that I did as a kid, my parents always made sure that I did it at the highest level. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna do anything half-ass. I was gonna do it at the highest level. So, we really went in on it, and my Uncle Seth was my coach. Yeah. And he and my dad was my coach as he learned the sport with me. As a kid, and then my dad really became my coach. My Uncle Seth got a good job for football. I had to move out of town. He became my coach, and my dad coached me up until high school when I went to Izzy Style. And that's kind of my wrestling story. Other than that, I mean, I grew up in Las Vegas. So I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I grew up in Las Vegas, New Mexico. Okay. Not Las Vegas, Nevada, Las Vegas, New Mexico. Yeah. And really small town. And that's where I kind of, I don't know, that's a lot of my childhood there. Yeah. And then moved to Albuquerque when I was in third grade, fourth grade. Lived in Albuquerque until high school.
Yeah. And then what made you guys decide going to Illinois for high school? Was it just the wrestling?
The wrestling, the education, the society out there in Albuquerque. I mean, it's not the best culture. It's amazing in culture, in like New Mexican culture. Like, there's a lot of depth in New Mexican culture, but in terms of like how there's just a lot of we got a lot of problems, man. Yeah. Like there's a lot of violence out there. There's a lot of crime out there. It ain't where it should be. Yeah. You know, is John Jones live out there? Yeah, he lives out there. And then you got, I think Holly Holm lives out there? You got how many UFC people are out there? Oh, plenty. I mean, there's Jackson's MMA, man. Yeah. Jackson's MMA, world renowned.
So do you go and train, like when you're ever there, you go out and wrestle around with the people out there?
Yeah, I have a really great relationship with Greg Jackson and Winkle John, and they allow me to go in there. They welcome me with open arms. You know, it's my home. Yeah. You know, they've known me since I was a little kid. Yeah. I go in there training wrestling just because I got MMA guys that I could roll with. You know what I mean? So it's always been awesome to be able to have that relationship with them and go in there, see these fighters, Holly, John, and get to know them. Even, you know, I got to know Holly and John real well, but Holly particularly really close. Like I consider her my big sister.
Hey, saw her at your match. I'm sitting there. I'm like, he's like, yeah, come up, you know, watch the match and everything like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, sick. You know what I mean? Like, let's go up there, watch this sick match. I'm sitting there like, Izzy's got us right there front. We're standing there with your pops. Yeah. Holly's to my left, Clay Guida's to my right. And I'm like, what the hell? These guys are plugged in. Yeah. It's an incredible, like, if you haven't been to a live, you've been watching this, you haven't been to a live D1 like college wrestling match, it is the most intense feeling, insane. Like college football, NFL, you know what I mean? That's all exciting and everything like that. Nothing compares. Like I haven't been to UFC. I've been to Bellator fights, like front row, real close. I'm like, yeah, super exciting. But the cage, the vision blocks you out. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there like, man, I wish I was up high so I could look down into the cage. But being at that match, bro, I know like if you have any ounce of testosterone inside of you, you're just watching, you're just looking, you're like, dude, I hope someone messes with me. I'm going to double leg somebody next to me. You know what I mean? Like, I was fired up. I was like, hell yeah. You feel that energy. D1 wrestler, you know what I mean? Like, it was insane. It was probably the best sporting experience I've ever had. I hate, Carver, like the boring stuff, but like that D1 wrestling, bro. Yeah.
It's a blessing. And you got to experience a particular, like the highest of the high.
The highest.
Carver, not every match is like that. Yeah. Bro, that's Carver Hawkeye Arena. For you. Like they do it different there. Like the fans there are just incredible. Yeah, they bring the energy, and then you feel that energy. The wrestlers feel that energy. They bring the energy, and
you guys tune it out though. You know, it's like you're in your own world.
Some people do.
But watching you were locked in, bro. Yeah. It was a super close match, but you were locked in. You guys' whole organization was locked in, and the fact Dan Gable was there, and just a man for the people. You know what I mean? Like people are like, no, Dan's like, this is a super humble guy. He was out there working with the kids, signing kid autographs and signing people's autographs for hours. It looked like he's just out there doing pre-work. So, dude, that's incredible to see that. Now, when did you know wrestling got like super serious for you and you had to start making sacrifices? Yeah, like can't go out with the friends, can't go party in high school. When did that start happening?
Mostly the biggest sacrifice I made it catapulted this big sacrifice to move to Chicago, away from my family. Yeah. I moved away from my family.
Oh, you weren't living with your family?
I was not living with my family. They were still in Albuquerque.
Damn, I thought your whole family moved up to Chicago with you.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't have no money like that.
That makes sense. Yeah. So like, family had to stay there. You had to get up to Chicago, so you just crashed with somebody in high school too.
Yeah, in high school. So
you're still a young man. You're like 15.
Yeah. It was interesting, and I'll tell you, like, so first of all, I moved with who now I consider my family. Yeah. But it was a friend of family of Izzy, who was my coach, and who brought me out there, and when I moved out there, I mean, like you said, I was young. You know, I wasn't able to like gather what it really meant. You know, and what it really was going to do for my life. And so the first year, it was cool, like, oh, I'm away from my family, or I'm away from my parents. Like I get a little more freedom in a way, or kind of like those ideas But I was really locked into training mostly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not if you like basically
it wasn't
living
like
with Izzy, bro. You're gonna be working 24/7.
Yeah, bro. You already know how it is.
I walked in that. I don't know how I got introduced to Izzy. I walk in there with a suit. I'm running an office in Chicago, an insurance office. I walk in there with a suit. I'm like, I'm gonna get this dude in the podcast. He's like, hey, go in the back room and change. I was like, for what? I was like, I told you I do jiu-jitsu. I don't wrestle. He's like, no, go in the back room and change. He had like a Greco team in from International Greco team in or something like that was training. And he's like, no, go in and change. Do a practice. I want to see you do a practice before we do a podcast.
Okay, I like it.
We did a whole I did an hour and a half, 2 hour wrestling practice. And I have jiu-jitsu lungs. Completely different. Jiu-jitsu, you're on your back.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
you
different positions. And you get to chill a little more, bro. And I think it was like, I almost made it to the end. And I just start throwing up. I go out the back door. I'm just throwing up. The guys are laughing. These Greco kids, they don't even speak English. They're just laughing at me. And I'm like, this is rough, bro. And it's like, but this was the worst part. That was the morning. Mm-hmm. We're breaking practice, and he's like, hey guys, practice again tonight, 5:00. I was like, practice again tonight, bro. You just killed these kids, bro. Practice again tonight.
I'm up here barely.
Yeah, I was
stand up.
And he was like, and we're doing, and it was like a 2-week camp or a 4-week. I don't know what they were in for sometime. And they were like, yeah, and this is the life. That's the life. It's like year round, 2 times a day. It felt like that movie. I remember being in middle school and they made us watch that wrestling movie, Vision Quest.
Okay.
You ever watch Vision Quest?
I haven't.
There's
bro.
no way. I was like, I don't think you've seen Vision Quest.
No, I haven't.
You gotta watch Vision Quest.
Yeah.
You probably so wrestled out. You've seen so much wrestling shit. You're not even gonna be
I'll
excited
watch
by
it.
it. But Vision Quest, dude, it's an incredible movie. Friends have probably told you about Vision Quest.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Sure,
you gotta
I've
watch
heard
that
of
movie. But
no,
dude,
I have heard of it. I have heard of it.
Yeah, dude, like the vibe of wrestling. I don't think I've done anything harder. I just started MMA, so I like got a couple years of the wrestling. The jiu-jitsu helps me tremendously, but MMA, like having all of that, there's different lungs with every sport. And
yeah.
So, but like nothing's ever compared though for me to like what it does to your brain, like when you're training and wrestling, and why I really wanted to do this podcast, and I've stayed on you. I got in my notes here. I was taking notes on you to prepare for this podcast. This is February 8th of this year. You know what I mean? Like that's when I started taking notes. I said, Real Woods became a famous Stanford ranked number 7. And that was you versed Nicole, is it Nicole Alvarez? Am I saying that right? I put this in here wrong. Is there an Andrew Alvarez?
Andrew
Alvarez. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking notes on this, but because the biggest thing for me when I see like success, entrepreneurship, sales, and I meet guys that have made a tremendous amount of money, I grew up on food stamps, the food bank lines, the whole nine. Both my parents went away. My mom got out, raised me and my little sister. That's why I moved up to Pennsylvania. I've been all over the place. So similar, I don't know, I call it American upbringing because in the grand scheme of things, when you go outside of America, you realize we don't got it that bad. Even if we had it bad like here, we had less growing up here.
100.
I went to Peru when I was 16 on a missions trip, and I saw what real poverty looked like, and I was like, oh, man. I can never say I was poor again. The food stamps were a blessing. Some countries don't even got food stamps, food bank lines. But I look at, there's a correlation between making a bunch of money and having the ability to endure through pain. And I haven't found a group of people that can endure through pain like a wrestler. Because it's a mental game. Your body gives out in a practice. I think the hardest thing I ever did was we did a practice where it was just live wrestling for an hour. You just live wrestle. There was no like, oh, you win. No, it's just wrestle for an hour. I think we were training for like regionals or something like that. It was a smaller local tournament, and they were like, you can come to practice if you want. You don't have to. But we are going to wrestle live for an hour. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the fact that was middle school. For you to evolve and do even more. Because if we were doing that in middle school, what were you guys doing in high school to prepare for state tournaments?
Yeah.
And then when you're in college, what were you doing to prepare for nationals? So like walk us through like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Man, I'll tell you what. Like when you train at that high of a level, you fall in love with it.
Yeah.
like it sounds crazy because it sucks. Yeah. But I mean, when you, especially as you become an adult, like when you're a kid, you maybe do it because you have to. Maybe you do it because that's just part of the program. That's part of, I don't know. It was part of my story. Yeah. Like when I was in high school, that was kind of, I guess my background. It was part of I needed to because I left my family for it, kind of thing. That's my motivation. But as you become an adult, as I'm maturing, like, and I think about wrestling as a sport, like, man, I fall more in love with it the harder it gets, because it's like life, bro. When you go through hard stuff, you come out on the other end stronger, harder, better. You come out on the other end with growth, because that all growth needs some hard hits, and so you go through that process, and it's like it just makes sense. It just adds up. Yeah. Like you put in that work, you put in that pain, to such an extent that's like feels like you want to fall over, and like that's just in this 1.5 hour, 2 hour session. Like you feel like you want to fall over, like your muscles give out every practice. You know what I mean? Like it's tough, but then after that practice, you're that much stronger. Yeah. Physically, mentally, like it takes a toll, but at the same time, because of that, you come out better.
That is our job, bro, is to pick each other up, man. So if you're out there, bro, and you want to be picked up, you want to be loved on, dude, and you want to go to fucking work, and you straight up like, dude, we will challenge the hell out of you. Like any ounce of potential, our whole goal is to squeeze it out of each other. And that includes myself. Like I'm going to require Tristan to make me better and vice versa, dude. This is how the relationship works. So if you're out there, 970-948-6022. Let's lock in, baby.
What were weight cuts like? Were they easy for you? Were they hard for you?
Weight cuts have always been hard for me, always. When I was a kid, my dad, having not been a wrestler, he wasn't like, thankfully, he wasn't, he didn't have the perspective of you have to cut weight. We never cut weight. My dad was like, nah, you don't need to wrestle up. Exactly. Wrestle 2 weight classes up if you want to, like to get more competition, whatever. We never cut weight because it's like you got to be able to beat these dudes at higher weights. So then whenever we get to where we want to be, whereas like right now, I'm able to wrestle at the guys my weight, but with already my whole life been wrestling guys at heavier, stronger, faster weights, So weight cutting has always been hard. When I've had to cut weight, it's been very, very, very difficult because I thought of it when I first started cutting weight in high school. I thought of it like everybody else does, mostly everybody, all the young generation in wrestling, which is wrong. And what's wrong about it is you don't cut out your nutrition. You don't cut out what you need to fuel your body. You just make sure to not consume the things that don't fuel your body. Yeah. Right. So you eat a healthy diet. You eat a very stringent healthy diet. You are hydrated. Yeah. So that's what really gets your weight down, and that's what I've come to realize growing in the sport. But in high school, I didn't know that. So in high school, I'd fast for several times. Whenever I needed to, I'd fast. Whenever I was too heavy, I'd fast. Yeah. That's how I made weight, and that's why the perspective on weight cutting is so, it sucks. It's terrible. I have a buddy, Diego Pavia. Matter of fact, Diego Pavia is a quarterback for Vanderbilt. I'm sure a lot of you guys know. Yeah, you were posting. I grew up with him. He's one of my very, very close friends, but he was a wrestler too. The reason why he stopped, he's very talented, phenomenal athlete. The reason why he stopped is because of weight cutting. Yeah. And the whole idea behind it is so like, it's just thought of the wrong way. Yeah. It's all about doing the right things. Yeah, it's all about doing the right things in your health, in your diet. And because a lot of wrestlers just, everyone tries to take the easy way. Yeah. So then that's the culture that you kind of feel as a young wrestler in high school. And so then I just was fasting. I was like, I'm just not gonna eat today. Yeah. I'm gonna put on plastics, maybe go run, get some quick water weight off. Yeah. Like, no, it kills your muscles. You don't perform at your highest level. Yeah. But I started learning, you know, I got better with my health and got better learning more about nutrition and what my body needs as fuel and what I need. So then I've learned to cut weight the right way.
Dude, that's crazy you say that. I remember sleeping in a trash bag in 8th grade. Sleeping in a trash bag, doing practices in a trash bags. And then I think one of the coaches came up to me and was like, no, you can't do that. I don't know if it was like against like
I'm sure
school rules or something like that. But dude, the plastics and the trash bags, the saunas. I'll meet wrestlers when I see the ears, and I'll be in a sauna and I'll be like, why do you still come in here? Because some will have a bad relationship with it because, you know, I've heard horror stories of like, I'd spend an hour in the sauna. I had one buddy. He would I'd spend so much time in the sauna. I would like sit close to the door and try to like breathe in the cold air from the doors.
Oh yeah, I had a teammate in high school who had to make weight. He was trying to suck the air out the bottom of the sauna door.
Bro, yeah, I just kind of. And I'm like, no wonder you guys. Hey, I'm like, because some wrestlers. I got a buddy. He wrestled out of Illinois. Ended up blowing his shoulder out. But, and I forget the school he wrestled for, but he was like, he doesn't go in the sauna anymore. He was like, dude, I just have PTSD from the sauna. Like just, again, in high school, not knowing proper nutrition, not knowing how to properly cut weight and different things like that. But it's crazy. Again, it all goes back to that mental resilience of being able to put yourself through hard things that you know are going to make you stronger, better, and help you, you know, acquire your desired goal. It all translates with success. You know? When I see high-level people, you know, whether it's a high-level athlete like yourself or, you know, somebody in business that I'm competing with, I'm like, okay, well, I've never, like, my advantage has never been, you know, I'm way smarter than somebody or I have a bunch of resources because I don't have, you know, parents to back me up or something like that. So for me, it's always been like, I can outlast you. Because I just look at the wrestlers. I'm like, okay, what do they do to get to the highest level? It's not like some are like way stronger or way faster or way smarter. It's usually that one with a sicko heart and it's just like sicko mind that can endure, almost like a Tony Ferguson type of like gas tank where it's like, dude, that dude doesn't gas out. You know what I mean? Like, and that's for like business, like somebody that can like focus and be patient. The person that doesn't gas out and like, oh, this is too hard. I need to quit and go do something easy. It's like that dude never makes it. Did you ever wrestle any like Dagestanians? Do you ever go out of country?
Not yet. So that's my transition now.
Okay,
done with college. Done with college folk style wrestling.
Yeah.
Graduated, no more years of eligibility, so I'm transitioning to freestyle, and it's a different rule set to a certain extent.
Help the audience understand, because you got freestyle, you've got Greco, and you've got folk style. Folk style is usually high school, but I've seen high school kids do freestyle also.
Yeah, they call it collegiate wrestling. You wrestle it in college.
Okay.
It's the sport in America. It's the style in America for wrestling.
But most of the world doesn't do folk style.
None of the other countries.
Okay, it's just
nobody
America.
else, just America.
Okay.
Yeah, we always love to be different. In fucked up ways.
Yeah.
Now, so collegiate wrestling involves just different rule sets with top and bottom. Neutral, folk style versus freestyle. The rule set's just about the same on your feet, other than exposure points.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but basically when your shoulders turn past 90, usually in folk style, there's a count. Count 4 or 5 seconds, you earn 4 to 5 points. 3 to 4 to 5 points, 3 to 4 to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas you turn past 90 in freestyle, automatic 2 points, and that's it.
Yeah.
So if you hold them there, it doesn't matter. But if you hold them on your back, all styles, it's a pin.
Yeah.
So then freestyle, you could turn past 90, 2. Whereas in folk style, you could do that and then no points because you don't get the count. But you could turn past 90, 1, 2, 3, go back and then do it again type.
Is that where like you'll see the guys do like work on like where they roll them?
Yeah, that's right. That's
freestyle or is that Greco?
That's freestyle. Both Greco. So
I'm saying the same thing?
Greco and freestyle are the same, other than in Greco you can't touch the feet. You can't use your legs.
Oh, you can't use your legs.
I mean, you can use your legs, or you can't like grab their legs.
Oh, okay. That's
or you can't like foot sweep them.
So when they say like give them like, oh, I gave them 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you throw them up over, is that?
That's both freestyle and Greco.
Okay.
So that's exposure points.
So like that match Kennedy Blades had just recently, and the crazy picture. And she's like this. That's a 5-point move.
That's a 5-point move.
And that's like one of the hardest moves to
feet
hit?
overhead.
Yeah,
that counts as a 5. So when you're on your feet and you throw somebody whatever way, feet overhead, usually it's a suplex.
Yeah.
You know, that's 5 points onto their back.
And so, like, that's what you're transitioning into.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you're just going to be suplexing cats for the next how many years? 10, 15, 20?
We'll see.
Dude, and what's crazy is there's a lot of, like, longevity. Jordan Burroughs is, you know, I've been watching him since I was, like, a kid, basically. And he's still, I don't know, like, he's top tier, bro. Like, he's still high. And then, is it Demetrius? Is there a guy a little heavier than him? Another black dude. What's his name? Like has a significant amount of medals, gold medals.
Oh, man.
I forget the dude's name.
I'll tell you what, something funny about me is as much as I love the sport.
You're locked in on you, bro. I love it.
I am.
It's like, who cares? I'm me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But the dude's like 40-something years old, and he's still going. And I'm sitting here like, because you look at wrestling and be like, oh, you get a lot of damage in wrestling. And yeah, you do. I think you get more in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
You're popping stuff. Because you're trying to, submissions and the guys play a lot of leg locks. That's where you run into like dangerous issues, like get your meniscus ripped up and everything like that. But what I see about wrestlers is a really, I don't know, a top tier wrestler, they run that career up into their 40s or 50s. Maybe not 50s, but definitely late 40s. I'm seeing these guys going to 40 years old. I'm like, that's not a bad deal. You get sponsorships, you run camps. I would imagine the most money is probably made in the camps. When I look at it, it's like the camps and like probably solid sponsorships. Because once you build up a big name for yourself, then you could just start, you know, running camps.
The money could come in different ways. And the way I look at it is money can come in many different ways. You make your name for yourself, but that is truly where your money comes from, is value of who you are. And so like, most of the money, like if you're going to seek money, probably camps, working maybe private lessons.
There's other ways too, because you got Bo Nickel who's doing the UFC route, but then you got Gable, right? Is it Gable Stevenson? He's coming back. How does that work? How like is it because COVID threw like off like the years of eligibility? Like
somewhat having to do with that. I think that because he wasn't enrolled in classes for a year when he was doing the WWE stuff, he still maintained that year of eligibility. And then there's
so you can come back whenever, as long as, is there like an age cutoff?
I think there's an age cutoff. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what the age cutoff is, but so long as you're under that age, you still have that year of eligibility. You can enroll in classes and use your eligibility.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of guys that are on like multiple years of eligibility just because of the COVID stuff, and you could redshirt. Maybe you had a medical redshirt as well. You know, you could start adding up eligibility years on top of what's standard, but just because of that COVID, really, mostly.
Damn. Yeah. So, dang, dude, that's crazy. So now you're transitioning now into the freestyle world. What is that? So, like, do you have a first match? You know, kind of like lined up, or first tournament kind of lined up?
Yeah, I'm considering a couple tournaments. Definitely, though, a ranking series tournament.
Yeah.
So how freestyle works in terms of making the world team, because that's the ultimate goal, making the world or Olympic team. Okay. Winning world and Olympic gold medal. You have to, in order to do that, you have to win the world trials, or you have to win the spot.
What are those?
World trials, final X. It's this process, and in the process, you develop a ranking status. And you win points toward your rank.
Wow.
So say you do make the team, however many points you got towards your rank, you are seeded.
Yeah.
And so, seeds matter to whatever extent you think they do. But in order to get a good ranking, build up your ranking points, you go to these ranking tournaments.
Yeah.
And there's 3 or 4 of them, I think. Go to them, however you place. Yeah. You earn a certain amount of points.
All right, so such a sick career that you've built for yourself, a sick life you've built for yourself, dude. Seriously, I give you a lot of respect. And incredible family as well. I just remember being there. Your pops was incredible. Your family's incredible, just super respectable. And just you can tell they got big hearts. You know what I mean?
That's right, man.
Big hearts. And that's all that matters in this life.
That's exactly right.
At the end of the life, you can't take any of the money with you. You can't take any of the fame or anything with you. You know, being a good person is everything. So everybody you've been around, Izzy, incredible man. You know, everybody you around, bro, is you know, doing really good things. And to see you and your girl always together and do good things, I think that's the most important decision you make in this life. Next to deciding you're going to do something special for yourself and be a man and go do something, you know, worthwhile, is like who you decide to be with. You know what I mean? Like, think of my girl. I don't know where I'd be without my girl. You know what I mean? I feel like I'd be lesser. I know I'd be a king regardless, but like, there's always, you know, there's a good quote. It's like, you know, behind every great man's a great woman. You ever seen 300, or you don't watch any movies?
I have.
Okay, so like the Spartan Queen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She's like, you know, every Spartan comes from a Spartan woman. So it's like, especially with the regiment, the schedule, and put up with that. I guess in a sense, I think of that with business. You got a really good thing going for you. Last question I have is, who was the hardest match out of your whole life? Who was like your biggest rival or biggest, like, man, this match is like, I really got to prepare for this?
Hardest match, I could probably say for sure, was against Nick Lee.
Yeah.
Nick Lee, yeah. He's got a he stays in really good position.
Yeah.
Physically strong. He wrestles the sport very stingy.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of opportunity he gives you to create attacks and stuff like that. So that's probably the most difficult match that I've had.
What school did he wrestle out of?
Penn State.
Penn State?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go, bro. Let's go. This was a fire podcast. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, man.
Where can people find you? They want to. Can they hit you up for privates or anything?
Yeah, hit me up for camps. You can hit me up for advice, especially the younger generation. You know, I always want to spread love to the younger generation because that's what life's about. And
100%.
I want the younger generation to be better than me, to be better than my generation. So any younger athletes out there want to reach out for some advice, help, I'm always open to responding to DMs, and especially if you've got some serious questions and stuff you might want to get advice on, I'm here to help.
Let's go.
Help. So you reach me at Real Woods, the W's 2 V's.
Yeah. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go. All right, guys, have a blessed day. This is Real Woods. Peace.
Appreciate it.